Hello my Kandor crafters, welcome to my first how-to video. If you read the title, you already know what we're making today. So let's jump right on into it. I already have my SVG files uploaded, so I just click on them. If you don't know what an SVG file is, I don't know what the proper terminology is, but I know that they're like layered. So I'm able to change certain aspects of my image, which I'm actually going to show you in just a minute. So first I'm going to resize my images. I do about 3 inches because for some reason if I go small, my Cricut start cutting up and not in a good way. So to avoid all that, I just do 3 inches because it's not too big, it's not too small, it's like the perfect sweet spot. Next, I go to shapes and I get 2 circles, and those are going to be the hole for our keychain. So I kind of just size them until I get the width that I like, and then I go to align, and then I just center them to make sure, they're centered. So then I just slice them, and then I delete the little munchkins in the middle. Get it? Because it looks like a donut. Alright. After that, I turn them black because of the outline of the keychain. I like them to match. So it's really all about preference. So yeah. Then after that, I duplicate the little donut that I have because I have 2 keychains and it just makes it easier. Something I did not mention, I always bring my little donuts, I send them to the back because sometimes the blacks don't match. So it's like you could kind of see the donut in her hair because I'm going to change her hair black. So I just make sure that I send it back so it won't be as noticeable. Fun fact. Now, after I got the donut holes situated, I changed the attributes of Tinkerbell. This is where the SVG comes in handy because they have layers, and you can see the layers on your right hand side. And it's fairly easy to change them. You don't have to group anything or ungroup anything. You literally just click on what you want to change, and then where it says line type next to cut, click the little box and pick whatever color you want. So I am changing her skin color to make her a little chocolate, add a little melanin because I have melanin, so I wanted a chocolate Tinkerbell. And I'm changing her hair black and her eyes to green. So yeah. After I change the attributes to both Tinkerbells, I then go and highlight the little donut and Tinkerbell together, and then I duplicate them. Then after I duplicate them, the second one that I did, I weld it together. It's going to change all black. These are going to be our layers. So the first layer, I just duplicate that about 2 or 3 times. However many you want to do is fine. I'm impatient, so I only like to glue together like 3 or 4 layers, but you can definitely do more if you want to do more, like it'll just be thicker. Be careful not to move your original image and your little donut because you don't have them attached together. So make sure you don't move it, because if you move it, it may not line up correctly with your layers. So just keep an eye on that. Even if you do move it, you have a good old handy dandy undo button, because I know I be touching stuff. That's why I highlight the original image again with the donut, and I go back and I flatten it. And then you see when you flatten it, it kind of clears up. So now it's together, and it's going to change from a cut file to a print and cut. So you do need a printer for this project. I'm going to go ahead and list everything that you need in the description. Optional things and, mandatory items. Told you it's my first video, so I kind of forgot that part. I think I did it in my other one, but like I said, I was making like 8 keychains at that time because I do sell this on my website. But I'm rambling. So back to the topic at hand. If you are unaware, you can actually change like the size of your mat, like not the mat, but like the paper you're using. I use 8.5 by 11. So you can definitely change it, and then it'll move your images to fit the paper size. Also, you can move your own images, flip them around, and you can also bring, like say if you have room, you can also bring an image from one mat to the other, like I'm about to do, because I have 2 Tinkerbells, just, well, not 2, but I have 1 Tinkerbell just all lonely by herself. So I want to make some room for her, because heavy cardstock is not the cheapest. And yeah, I just like to utilize as much paper as I can and not have to, roll another mat. It's just too much. So yeah, I move her to the same mat as her sisters, and yeah. You can also move around your print to cut images, but you can't rotate them or put them on this like a different mat like I did with your regular cut ones. Don't know why, but yeah, it's Cricut. So when I send my images to the printer, I do leave the bleed on. It's optional. I just like to have like the little extra kind of space whenever my Cricut cuts, but it's totally optional. So when it comes to the base material, of course, I do heavy cardstock, but instead of my paper being 100 pounds and 270 GSM, it's 110 pounds and it's 300 GSM. So I definitely do have to change my settings. They're already changed, but I just wanted to show you in case you didn't know how to change them. So I have the maker. So I go to add material and then find it. And there's never ending list of items. And then I click edit. I changed my pressure to 300, and then I also do a double cut. Yeah, it just works out better that way because, like I said, my heavy cardstock is 300 GSM and 110 pounds. So I need a little bit more pressure than that, and I just wanted to make sure, because I told you my Cricut be cutting up. I just like to make sure that it actually comes out the way it's supposed to. So yeah, those are mine. Everybody's machine is different, I'm told, but this is what works for me. So this step is 100% optional. I only paint the back of my cardstock black because I'm using black cardstock for the layers. So just in case my keychain starts lifting due to the resin, then it just makes it less noticeable. If you do this step, then just make sure that you don't go over the edge of the papers, because you don't want to mess up your print to cut lines, because your Cricut will not be able to read it if you do so. This part is also optional, but I like to paint my images with triple thick first because it just makes the images more vibrant in my opinion, and you can tell when I start painting them. I do start with my lighter parts and then I go to my darker parts just in case the image hasn't fully dried. Sometimes the black can just go into your colored parts. So to avoid all that, I just start with my color parts and then I go to my darker parts. I know these aren't the original images that I started with, but I've done a lot of these keychains and this is the process that works for me. So after everything is dried and cut out, it's finally time to start doing my layers. So I take all my little silhouettes and I start mostly gluing around the edges because the edges are the most likely to start rising. After you cure it with the UV resin, you don't have to use UV resin. You can use regular resin, but I'm impatient, so I just use UV resin because it's much faster. And after gluing all my layers, I just take a black Sharpie and I start to outline the edges of my printed image just because I'm using black cardstock, so I need it to be cohesive. Now, once all of my layers have dried, mind you, I do not put the picture layer on first because I always cure the back of my keychains first, just in case like there's any like drippage. I rather it be on the back of the keychain instead of the front messing up the image. So I flip my silhouettes over, and then I just put my UV resin on there. I hit the 90-second button about like 3 or 4 times. It doesn't take that long. It really takes about 90 seconds, but I'm just like extra cautious. So I hit the 90-second button like 3 or 4 times. And then once all that is cured, I flip it over. I glue on my actual image, wait for that to dry a little bit, and then I proceed to cure the front. And I also wanted to note that you do not need UV resin to seal your images. You can seal it with triple thick, you can seal it with Mod Podge, or you can just leave it alone. Sealing it though does make it water resistant, not proof, but it's less likely to mess up if you do seal it with something. I just choose UV resin because it does look more professional in my opinion. But like I said, if you're just doing this like for a gift or for yourself, you can definitely just use Mod Podge or triple thick. Now it's time to make your keychain into an actual keychain. So these little glitter bottles I actually got from Dollar Tree, and I filled it up with glitter, and I just used one of those hooks that I got from Amazon to make it attached to the actual keychain. If you do the glass bottles, please make sure that you glue down the top, because I have had orders where the glitter spilled out, and it was just a whole mess, child. So make sure you glue down the top and everything is secure. And here is the finished product. Now, if you follow my tutorial, I know that your keychains will turn out just as bomb. And I can't wait for you guys to make them. Like, hashtag crafting with Kandor. And just show me your creations. Like, I'm really excited to see them. Also, I tried to make this video as straight to the point as I could. So if I went too fast, or if you would like to see my Cricut actually cut things out or anything of that nature, any comments, concerns, just let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to address them. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hashtag Kandor Creations on Instagram so I can see everything that you guys are making. And I will see you next video. Until next time, my Kandor crafters.